Alrighty.
Just as soon as I'm certain that Visk is listening.
I'm also noticing that you sound very different over this now.
Well, that's partly because of different audio quality and partly because the cold has dropped my voice by about half an octave.
That would do it, yeah.
I'm here. I'm just eating a little bit, so I was muted.
Oh yeah,
Alright,
I was wolfing down half a sub before I logged on. So.
Yeah, just checking in. Anyway, so let's get started. Kaelon, you ready for that?
Yeah, I'm recording. It's fine.
All right. So we're going to do a plus-sized recap, both for TMOS's benefit and because this could be the very last session of this particular act of the journey. So, when you first entered North Colagia, you weren't certain what to do because your usual scout was spotted almost immediately and couldn't do his job. But fortunately, a dracolich attacked your ship, and before dying completely, he explained that he had created a cult to further its existence and influence the various nations of North Colagia. But something went wrong with the something went wrong, and he was in a constant state of anguish, of pain. And so when the worm offered to end the pain, he accepted, despite knowing how badly it would probably end. And indeed, it has gone badly. And so he has begged the party, knowing about them through the worm, to find his phylactery, a large piece of jade, and destroy it, thus destroying the cult, effectively, and hopefully ending the influence the worm has on the region. First thing you did was go to the Southern Empire, introduce yourself to the Empress there, using a dragon to give you an introduction.
Introduction.
And then
Loosely defined.
he then proceeded to murder all of her inner circle who were infected by the worm, aside from one Marlia, who happened to be a old friend of Lily's. After explaining what you were doing to the Empress and presenting the Kirin as proof of your good intentions, you went back to the ship, freed Marlia from the worm's control, and after doing so, Marlia had no problems with explaining exactly what the worm was doing throughout the rest of North Colagia. This took you immediately to the Eastern Empire, because there was a child who was in imminent danger since you had appeared in the south. After a daring rescue, you then skipped off to the north, where you would hopefully find another heir who was not infected, to the Vang Empire, who could therefore take over after getting rid of all of the infected Vang royals. You didn't find him at first, however, you did find a silver dragon who also happened to be a character from Lily's past. He happened to know where the mystical city of Sharagrava was. And so you decided that since the worm was also interested in Sharagrava, that you would head north and see what was there. Hopefully figure out how to get in and how to prevent others from getting in. In fact, you were able to get in because the spirit that protects Sharagrava noticed that all of you had encountered a god in person before. Gia, the wife of Lord Onos, god of the sky. You underwent several trials after that. And at the end of it, you were allowed to take the rod of Lord Onos' might, a mighty relic left behind by the people who had built Sharagrava in millennia past. You were then quite rudely attacked by the silver dragon who had brought you there, and rather than parlaying before fighting, he decided to kill most of you and parlay with whoever was left. And it was a very close thing, but the timely arrival of some allies allowed you to fend the silver dragon off, and then finally kill it and take its parts, as you do with dragons.
I mean, with asshole dragons in particular.
The asshole fascist dragons, even.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed.
We didn't know that he was a fascist, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah. There was enough subtext, at least. Plus, he attacked you. Anyway. After that, you searched for the third Vang heir who could possibly have helped, but instead you found an abandoned outpost on the frontier and a strange scroll which had apparently driven the Vang heir mad before causing him to disappear completely. Much to the soldiers' dismay, and so they wrote a letter saying, "Forgive us for abandoning our post, but this shit's crazy." You were able to find the scroll in question, and you have handed it to Harvey, who, out of anyone, is probably the least likely to go crazy from researching it.
He's already an eldritch abomination that's also undead. I don't think he can get much more insane.
Well, corrupted.
After that, you were able to locate the last of the Vang Empires, the Exile, who it turns out was another child who had been locked in that tower that you rescued the actual child from, but he went a little nuts with his freedom since he was just at the right point of male adolescence to do that sort of thing. And so they exiled him, and so he went to a monastery, and after a few years he realized that what he had done was wrong, but he was not interested in going back to the regular world after that. He's fairly certain that he would have been tempted back into doing terrible things again. But he did tell you where the gold dragons who administrate the Vang Empire happen to reside, and you discussed with them because it turns out the gold dragons have been aware of your activities. And so they only needed a few bits of extra information that you happily shared with them, and then you discussed potential policies for the future to improve the Vang Empire going forward. At the same time, you were informed that the five-way divide of North Kalagia is in fact artificial, because when the first human empire, Genesis, rose to power millennia ago, they accidentally unleashed the chi, this essential energy of the very planet, and warped the continent itself. And since then, the gold dragons and the other metallics have been helping to regulate the societies in order to create a certain amount of balance between the five regions. Because when that balance shifts, so does the land itself.
That sounds bad.
Changes inevitable.
Meanwhile, you also headed to the west, to the Wilderlands, and found Clan Marlin, one of the 3 major clans that is trying to vie for the position of Kagan. You, as it turns out, they are faithful followers of Lord Onos, god of the sky. So when you showed up holding the rod and surrounded by the winds of Onos himself, you were treated with great respect. Your words were taken very seriously when you explained the false prophets that the worm was using to spread dissent. And you basically asked them to come together to gather all the clans into a great moot where you could discuss the future and maybe decide once and for all which of the clans should be rulers. You have most recently gone east to the Island Empire, where the presence of the worm is minimal because, well, they're already killing each other without any help, so... You were informed by Marlia that their only presence there was an outpost in the supposed capital of the Emperor, where they would be able to keep an eye on things and possibly intervene if one of the regions, one of the local powers, got big enough to start snowballing. You did a little investigation, and you found out that an interesting group has purchased a tower at the edge of town. And you strongly suspect that the worm is involved.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we have some time to spare, let me first get the music going. And we'll do this properly. You spend some time observing the tower and the small walled compound that surrounds it. And between Lily's ability to stay hidden and Grenash's temper, who is able to detect those influenced by the worm, you realize that as the sun sets and one by one people enter the walled compound, you realize that the 24 or so who enter there are all influenced by the worm. And while some of them have swords and other weapons and appear to be the Genasi, who are a class or two above normal people, none of them seem all that threatening. And while they have some expensive equipment, none of it looks exactly magical. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spare us all some time by not rolling for initiative or pulling out a battle map or anything, and just say, go at it, and we'll roll skill checks as you decide to do things.
Alright. Lake's gonna go in swinging just as big as they can. They are immediately going to Hulk out and just start opening fire with Eldritch Blasts.
Alright. Well, you see a guard just inside the front gate of the walled compound, and as you approach, he says, "Hang on, aren't you..."
No, he goes, "Hang on, aren't you? Want to see something cool?" and then I Hulk out and then blast him.
Hulking out takes some time, but
yeah.
only enough for him to cry out and turn around before being shot in the back.
Yeah, that only lasts a minute, so I'm gonna basically go in and just start blasting whole hog.
Alright, what about the rest of you?
I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like Aurelia will just do what she normally does. Maybe she'll make a nice dramatic entrance, flying in on red hair or something. But yeah, I don't know. Or well, you know what? Now would be the perfect time to use the stupid rod that I haven't actually got the chance to use yet.
Yeah, because like we're not rolling for attacks. You can just make that look cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got all kinds of neat stuff.
Yep. All right. Yeah. So I guess she'll. Wait, which mode would she use it in? Oh wait, well definitely if there are any barricades or doors that we need to break through, she can use the handheld battering ram mode.
Yes.
Well, there's always just sort of jumping into the middle of the compound, raising it up, and using Terrify.
Sure. That sounds pretty good. And she's definitely gonna do the thing where she slams someone into a wall or whatever. I forget exactly how that worked. The special one that you added to it.
Right. Well, that's pretty much exactly that. Strength saving throw, DC 17, same as the other item. Same as the other abilities. Or be tossed 3d6 times 10 feet in the direction of the user's choice.
Whatever
down,
direction
left,
would be
right.
coolest in context. We don't know exactly what the place looks like, so I can't decide. You tell me.
Well, it's a square compound with a wall around it, and a fairly large tower with what you see there on the screen, several tiers.
Okay, well, I'll knock someone, if we're outside the tower, I'll knock someone up into the tower.
Alright, roll 3d6.
Oops. Owned.
80 feet.
Jesus. Maybe over the tower in that case. I don't know how tall this tower is.
Well, it is actually fairly tall. It's used to look for, enemy troops approaching the city and, detecting fires in the nearby forests. So that's enough to just sort of whoosh them straight up onto the top tier and just sort of into the giant spike at the top. Not impale them on it, but just slam it up and into that. So the guy's kind of stranded now. But,
oh, don't worry, I can help him with that.
well, actually, yeah, as he climbs up to his feet, an arrow from behind you fires true and goes straight up in through the neck. He just topples right off the tower and tumbles down to the ground. Because Silky is with you.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
What is Grunash doing?
Honestly, looking at these guys and seeing that they're no threat, Grunash is just not going to find any pleasure out of this. He's basically going to take those that come at him and put them down unarmed and then finish them off with temper, just going straight for the worm each time. Just making it quick.
All right. Well, you kind of have to go through the brain to get to the worms, but that
Yep.
does make it quick.
Yep.
And for the record, you can tell by your connection to her that the Temper does not take any joy out of this fight either, but
No.
she is fully aware that it must be done, because aside from the occasional warlock, it is
There's nothing we
impossible.
can do.
It is impossible to bring someone back who has been infected.
Well, unless you just have God do it for you.
Aside from the divine intervention.
I doubt
Which we
it's-
don't have yet.
it's gonna take a long time to knock all these people out and put them in the box. So it's just easier this way.
Yeah, plus you don't exactly have Gia on
Speed dial.
speed dial.
Oh yeah, that too.
So aside from that, Lily just basically sort of sneaks between the various trees along the edge of the compound, firing bolts from her crossbow. And Silky stays just outside of the compound and takes shots at anybody who tries to escape, making sure that none of them get out alive.
Good plan.
And with all that being completed, you start to hear shouts from further down the hill. As, a bunch of city guards were alerted by the noise and screaming.
Well,
I'm sure it's fine.
I'm sure it's 100% fine.
Yeah. I would check with temper to see if they're infected as well, or if they are clean. If possible.
I doubt they're infected.
Yeah, same.
There were some members of the guard, based on the outfits they had, who were present, but Temper mentions that it's unlikely that the guards responding to trouble are themselves infected.
Okay. We've done what we can here. Let's go. Let's not.
We cleared out the comp.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's leave then. Let's go.
Temper
Yeah.
does a sweep, doesn't sense anything living and infected.
Then there's no reason for us to stay.
So, how are you leaving?
Oh,
Hopefully the opposite direction of the guards that are on the way.
yeah, I can turn myself invisible. I don't know about anybody else, so.
Well, Visk does have that escape button.
Yeah, that's how to escape.
Wait, what's the escape button?
Teleport.
Oh, teleport. Yeah, of course. That escape button. Sure,
That
let's use
escape button.
teleport.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we're sure there's nothing here that we want.
I mean, they didn't have anything magical. They had nice stuff, but none of it was like so nice that I'm willing to.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant
Oh.
like they weren't hiding something here
Oh.
that is relevant, like information or
Oh,
anything.
okay.
But
Well,
that's
you
fine.
can search for that. Just
Yeah,
quickly
I would
before
like to do at
guards
least a
arrive.
quick search.
I'm gonna do
Search,
that.
you say?
Oh, hey! I was about to roll that for Lily, but then you came in, so I don't have to.
I
That
have
would be
been
it.
here for very briefly, actually.
Okay.
That would be an
Okay, so-
investigation check.
Yeah, investigation!
Roll investigate.
Don't believe that roll. It's in fact 24.
Well.
You get, Light gets distracted by the fact that there are a bunch of blooming trees on the property, despite this being the middle of summer.
Pretty.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But Aurelia and Lily are able to search the compound, find a few papers. You don't exactly have enough time to read through them yet, but after you teleport, you would have that chance. So, do you do so?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, let's read them after we teleport.
I love stealing shit.
Oh, you do. The problem.
I was born with sticky fingers, okay?
They make
and I
pills
do-
for that now.
So, Aurelia?
Sorry? Yeah, let's use teleport to just go back to the ship, I guess.
That's no problem.
Later, losers.
Bye.
This place sucked anyway.
Instantly zap back down to your ship.
So I have no clue what's going on. It's great.
We were just raiding the compound, the tower from last time.
Ah.
Before that, there was a big recap of everything that's happened so far, because it might be the last time where...
Alright. Once you have the opportunity to get some peace and quiet, you take papers down to your quarters and start flipping through them. And you see that mostly it's notes about potential targets for future infections, people who are placed well to get information in the area, along with rumors and facts and basically fairly detailed investigations into which of the local clans is rising in power, who their allies and enemies are, what their next target is most likely to be, who has attacked whom most recently, that sort of thing. Like, if they were gathering information for some sort of paper or periodical, they could not have done better.
Well,
They even go to the point of marking certain of these statements with what you figure must be rumors as opposed to facts, because the ones that are marked such are distinctly more outlandish.
so basically, they won't be able to do this because we just murdered them all. Which is cool and good.
Like you do.
So given it's the worm, it's probably information that's already been shared. So
Yeah.
that's how they know about us.
But they won't be able to gather more information.
Not with the ones that are dead, at least.
But
Okay.
the information is detailed enough that you get the idea that someone around here might pay well for it.
A little skeezy.
Who?
That's a little...
It depends on who you sell it to.
It also means that someone would want that information.
Well, it's full of things like troop movements, allies and enemies, details that would be very useful to really any of the clans or even the Emperor himself.
It's very valuable information.
The Emperor is like a neutral party in all this, right?
Neutral
What
because
does
he
neutral
is
mean?
well, neutral because he is powerless.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, not completely powerless. Didn't we establish that the Emperor and his court or whatever ruled this city, which is kind of important?
yeah.
So I'd say that gives him some power.
I mean, I wouldn't be
Um,
against selling it to the Emperor in that case. Just so that way he knows, like, what the deal is coming soon.
I have a better idea. What if we just give it to the Emperor?
Nothing.
Sorry.
Nothing's stopping you either way. That's your decision to make.
Yeah, nothing's stopping you from just giving it to him, but, like, apparently it is worth good money.
It just seems rather mercenary to sell information like this when you can use it to get favors instead, which is much more valuable than currency.
I look at Lily.
Look,
Look, I know you guys don't really understand how politics works, but
what favor would we get? Like,
well, for example, the ability to set up trade by teleportation.
yeah, I don't care about that.
I don't care about that 1,000%.
Well, okay, sorry. Remind me, like, who is it who pays your salary again? So I think you're already getting paid. This would be something that would potentially be lucrative for me and my city-state, and that in turn is lucrative for you because, again, I want to stress this, I'm paying you.
Perhaps I could put it another way.
Yes.
If we get in their good graces, what would they do to stop us?
And they could do whatever they wanted to stop us. It's not how this works.
What does that mean? Stop us from...
Well, think about it. When we had to deal with that unfortunate incident when we first got here, when we had to kill 2 of those 3 that were infected, what if we had to favor them? What if we go into good graces already?
Well, actually, that favor did kind of pay out already. It's why the gold dragons did not attack you on sight after hearing about what had happened in the south. Yeah, because you informed the Empress about what you were doing and who you were allied with, she passed that information on to the gold dragons, who began their investigation and got caught up when you arrived to speak with them in person.
I'm just saying, if we had some leeway then, it would have been a case of thank you, but fuck off. Just saying.
I'm still not really sure what
Yeah, I 100% do not follow.
we're talking
Okay.
about right now.
Don't mind me then.
Anyway, I just think it makes sense to do this, and it's something could potentially be useful later on. You can never have too many allies.
Well, in that case, you could save the papers for now, and then we'll just handle the trade negotiation during downtime.
I suppose. Fair enough. All right. I mean, I would think that this information would probably be less valuable the longer we wait, if it's about things like troop movements, but...
Yeah. But it's also not valuable enough to do during the session.
That's fair. All right.
Can't wait for you to set up your own East India Company.
Not really how it would work, but yeah.
So, the moot in the Wilderlands was going to take place several weeks after you met with them, and that's only been about a day or 2 in the past at this point. And so you have actually a couple of weeks to yourself, during which we could say that Aurelia does talk her way into meeting with the Emperor and presenting the information in exchange for trade favors.
Nice.
But what do the rest of you want to do with this time, and where would you like to spend it?
We have the ability to just, like, teleport wherever, right? We have the teleportation circle.
Yeah. And in addition to that, you have realized that the ship that you're in can cross the entire planet in a matter of hours. And in fact, heading all the way back home would be a trip of a day.
Sure, why not? I'll go visit the family, get them caught up on what I'm doing.
Wait, in that case, I don't even need teleportation to do trade shenanigans.
No.
I can fit even more just on this ship. Wow, okay.
Until I steal
Jeez, I'm going to be rich. Well, okay, no.
it.
It's my ship, so please don't steal it.
Okay.
Remember who the ship is named after. That's how shipwrights work. Whoever the ship is named after is the owner of the ship.
Uh-huh, sure. Anyway, I'm gonna go home and visit my family.
Alright. What does Lily want to do?
Buy
For-
chintzy crap.
A couple of weeks.
Oh, a couple of weeks. I mean, obviously buy chintzy crap. Enjoy the food, enjoy the sights.
So an extended tourism break.
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy some sandy beaches, find some weird stuff in all the various nations.
Exactly. Look, what's the point of traveling if you can't enjoy it?
And what does Grenache want to do?
Actually, not too sure right now. I might just head back with the others and just watch what they get up to.
Everyone's doing different things, though.
Yeah. One person is not
Yeah.
even on the same continent as the other two.
I mean, all things considered, I'd probably go back and either I'd stick around with Lake or
Sure, I can introduce my family to my...
To your...
hey, cut out there.
Oh, to my weird big green friend.
And I beat you to it, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Thought you were about to
You didn't
reveal
in-
something interesting
You
there.
introduced Grenache to my family? What's wrong with you?
No, introduce Ganesh to my
I know,
family.
I know, I'm making a joke.
You're cancer.
Well, you may recall that Grenache and Podaris, I believe, is
yeah,
his.
yeah, Podaris.
I believe the two of them have met before.
Because everybody decided to be all in my business when I went to go meet my dad for the first time. But yeah, I can be like, Dad, you met Grenache. Grenache, this is Podaris, my dad. I think you met him once. He tried to hug me. I wasn't very kind to him. Things have changed. Things have changed.
Sick hug dodge.
No, it wasn't a hug dodge. It was more like he was hugging me and I just did not hug back.
Yes, the open arm hug where you just don't want to touch the other person.
No. Like he just. It was one of those hugs
Dead
where he's just like,
fish.
yeah, dead fish.
Dead fish. Huh?
Dead fish hug. That was what I was going for. I go.
I prefer the hover hand hug personally.
I go. Grenache, this is Aunt Astra, Uncle Stolas, Grandpa Cereal, Great Uncle.
I'm sorry, cereal?
Cyriel. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. It's Syriel.
Well, you may recall that most of your family has cast themselves to the four winds.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Uncle Lucky Charm.
I thought the ones that were named at least stuck around, but
No,
was it-
it's
okay.
your father, your aunt, and her husband.
okay. So yeah,
Or not husband. They're not directly.
Yeah.
They do marry outside the family.
yes. So yeah, there's everybody. This is Grenache. He is basically my best friend, as weird as it may seem.
Yes, they are
Wow.
actually quite interested in you, Grenache, since they also are followers of what's her name?
Ontario?
Entaria, yeah, the Empress.
Lily doesn't know why, but she feels hurt.
You're the one who constantly says that we're work associates. Also, I've known Grenache longer.
I fucked up.
But yes, they are. They were a gift by Interia to the people of Okar, and so they have continued to be servants of her will, much like yourself. Although yourself more recently. And so they're happy to provide any additional information you might want about the goddess, about her good works, about her life back before she was ascended to godhood.
Mm-hmm.
And they do mention that they were, as it turns out, supposed to be doing active service to improve the Empire. And the Celestial that founded the Aasimar bloodline had been pushing them to do that, but the Church had encouraged them to do the opposite, mostly because they were worried about the backlash and the fact that the first Aasimar got his ass murdered.
Deader than disco.
Didn't want that to happen again.
Though, to be fair, they have kind of started ignoring that thanks to me. I've started an angel mob.
Yeah.
God, the Angel Mafia sounds foul.
No, it's less the angel mob, and it's more like those 80s shows with the protagonist who just sort of wanders from town to town doing good things.
Ah,
And just
okay.
stumbling into a good guy versus bad guy situation every week.
Samurai Jack. Got it.
More Incredible Hulk /
Okay.
Knight Rider.
Okay. They're making a Samurai Jack video game. That's fucked up, but amazing.
Hell yeah. Okay, so as this is going on, I do inquire with him. So is this something that I could perhaps attempt?
Bless you.
Perhaps there's something I could attempt to do to return that power to him, if there was any way that I could.
Well, they are glad for any help with the good works they're doing. Podaris goes to court to expose corruption. His sister hands out charity, poor, and his brother sneaks into the estates of corrupt individuals to uncover evidence of their wrongdoings.
It's so cool. I love my uncle.
Well, if there comes to be any interference, let me know. I want to help as well in some way if I can.
All right. Well, you are invited to assist in any of their activities, or just ride along, as it were. See how they do it.
Hey, Grenache, want to learn how to break and enter?
Haven't we done that enough already?
Look, if Grenache wants to learn that, there are better people to learn from.
This is true.
Yeah, and maybe you guys don't, but I still remember that fiasco when Grenache was trying to infiltrate the Guildmaster's office.
God, that was so long ago now.
Feels feel like I should be glad I wasn't there.
If you were there, it would have gone much smoother.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's put
Grenache
it
was
this
the
way.
closest thing they had to a rogue at the time.
I think I was.
Probably would have been Aurelia. Well, okay, gonna go ahead and point out that Aurelia is the one who has all the skills, and was...
I have
Okay.
Yeah, but-
advantage in all stealth rolls and proficiency in thieves' tools. So
Grenache has Dex.
Nash does have
And
dex.
so does Aurelia.
Your skills pay the bills. They don't break and enter.
I mean, I was, in fact, doing breaking and entering in that thing. I was the one who, like, was disarming the traps and shit. Like, okay, but never mind. It's fine.
It was long ago anyway.
Yeah.
So eventually the moment comes when, Aurelia, you hear a familiar voice echoing in your head and say, "The time of the moot has come. Chosen of Lord Onos, grace us with your presence."
That I will.
So is that your response? You do get a 25-word response.
Oh shit. Okay. Well,
No, I like that. I will. Just the casualness of it.
no,
Sure,
no. I mean,
be right there.
Aurelia. No. Come on. Maybe if it were one of you peasants, but
Be there or be square.
no. Okay. I'm not going to come up with an exact response because I don't want to try to maximize my use of words.
Coward
to
that you
hit
are.
exactly 25. But basically, Aurelia will give a long and overly polite response.
Long at 25 words.
Well, yeah, longer than I'll be there. Explaining that yes, she will be there. And then she goes there. Well, we all go
yes,
there,
no.
presumably.
No, I'll be there. Yes, I'll be there.
All right,
What
yeah,
I'm saying
you,
is she will give a fancier response than that. I'm just too lazy to try to come up with an exactly 25-word response, which is what Aurelia would do.
well, points made. So you go and gather up the rest of the party,
No, I'm on vacation.
including those NPCs whom we are skipping over.
This is so nice.
Bye,
These people are
Dad.
lovely and their food is great.
Bye, Dad. I'll see you in weeks, I guess, or something. I don't know.
And so back to the Wilderlands you go.
It is I, the Alpha Tourist.
I get back on the ship and I'm like, what is that gaudy flower pattern shirt you're wearing?
Don't judge.
It's costs a pretty penny, actually. They had to embroider each and every one of those flowers.
Why is it orange
No, it's fine.
and
We're
yellow?
not Japan, right? I was enjoying my vacation in not Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't make me fun of my yukata. Fuck you.
I was going more for like the tourist shirt.
I know what you were going for. Fuck you. Lily and her tiny yukata.
Custom sized.
Exactly. Look, Lily's got money.
So you eventually come to the site of the moot, which is quite a bit livelier than when you last left it. It was a particularly wide open plain that was somewhat raised up from the areas around it, but also within the mountains that are just sort of constant across this entire damn continent.
Why is it so flat?
It's not flat. It's not flat anywhere.
Why is
That's
it
the
so
thing.
empty?
But yes, what was once just another empty field is now full of tents, yurts, teepees, shelters of every shape and size, some of them on raised wooden platforms, others sitting straight on the open fields. You can tell which You can tell how many clans there are just by how many large tents there are that each seem to radiate out with additional tents just in a circle surrounding them.
It's no longer empty like Skull.
And so you can count out. There's about a dozen clans in attendance here. And at the very center of it all is a space that is still open. But as you start descending closer to the ground, you see it is full of equipment, obstacles, fences, logs, stones. Looks like they're setting up for a
Obstacle course.
pretty big event.
I really want to just be an obstacle course. That's how you determine the Kahan.
Just the world's worst version of Double Dare.
No, like I said in chat, we've arrived at the set of the Ultimate Ninja Warrior.
We've arrived at the set of Extreme Elimination Challenge or whatever that
Yeah.
is called.
That's what I was
No,
going for, I think.
I like the idea of Ninja Warrior more.
They just build a big old tower.
The
The
most powerful combatant who's a firefighter with 3% body fat.
current pilot notices that a couple of people in particular are waving to bring you down, and there is a space that has been noticeably left open for your ship to land in.
Our sweet parking spot just
Aurelia
for us.
ignores it and descends on her own,
Sorry, on what?
on her griffin.
Oh, so you're not in the pilot seat then, I would
No.
hope.
No.
No, really
Aurelia is
wasn't
not in the
pilot
pilot
seat. Now the boat
She
comes
was-
crashing down.
She was prepared for her own private descent before everyone else because Aurelia is full of herself.
And look, we just let Harvey drive the boat because Harvey can't leave the boat anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even you can't do it for 24 hours, though.
Well, yeah, I
Yes.
mean the descent in though and coming in, Harvey
Alright.
would have been the driver.
Fair enough.
It's carefully planned because we have a fuckload of casters on the boat now.
hmm
Lily still refuses to drive though.
Blake, meanwhile, loves to drive. Fuck it. It's still like the
Yeah.
coolest thing to like. It just keeps
Yeah,
getting
of
cooler
all
the
the
more we find out
NPCs
about
you
it.
guys have gathered, the only one who isn't capable of piloting this ship is the kid.
Yes.
Speaking
I mean,
of which,
Can Silky pilot? Because I don't think Silky can pilot.
oh no, she can.
Oh,
She's
Ranger spells.
Rangers have 1/2 spell casting progression.
did not know that.
Speaking of the kid, is he still with you, or have you dropped him off for the time being back home?
Left him at daycare.
I would say that Aurelia would get his opinion on that. Would he like to keep accompanying them for now, or would he like to
He
you
is,
know,
he is at this point still so overwhelmed by the outside world that he has no particular opinion about where to go in it.
Let's let him
Right.
experience it more and more.
okay, we'll keep him with us just so at least he can be near people that he's familiar with.
All right. Well, as you descend on your griffin, you make a fine landing in front of Shaman Wasto, who is the person who contacted you and was waving you down when you were arriving.
I greet them.
With a big grin on his face, bows deeply at your arrival and says, "Thank you once again for gracing us with your presence, chosen one. Now that you are here, the challenges of the moot can begin. We would, of course, welcome you to sit in a space of honor as a judge of the events."
Of course, I would be honored.
And those of who have accompanied you are welcome to compete in them as well. They may not fight or compete for the honor of their clans, but it is all great fun. And we can always ignore how well they place when deciding the honor between clans.
Ooh.
Oh, well.
We have many events of many varieties. Test in this moot.
I'm in.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I'm a little sad that Aurelia won't get to compete, but I think judging will be even more fun for her. So, maybe not for me, but definitely for her.
You can't go clubbing. No, no.
Oh no.
Well, so the shaman lays out a variety of the events, which, as it turns out, are in fact quite comprehensive. It's not just athletic events, it's throwing stones, wrestling, pulling wagons by hand, horse breeding quality, tricks on horseback, archery accuracy on horseback, drinking contests, music contests, insult
Did you say-
contests,
Drinking contest?
dancing contests, embroidery demonstrations, magic contests,
Ooh.
and demonstrations of weapon quality.
Ah, weapon quality.
Now,
Definitely.
do you need a sword to compete in the insult contests?
Not in this kind, no.
That's it. Okay. And is there a rhyming component, or have we not advanced to that stage?
Well, if you want to rhyme, you would probably that would help impress the judges.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I guess we're not on the open seas, so we don't need to rhyme. I believe
Yeah.
that was the justification
yeah,
used.
Yep.
Yeah. How appropriate you fight like a cow.
I'm shaking. I'm shaking.
So, which of these contests interests our player characters?
Magic. I want to say
Let's see.
Lake would be great at insults, but I'm very bad at insults.
You can make skill rolls.
Okay, yeah, then insults. Fine.
Man, Aurelia is definitely interested in judging the insult category.
So, out of curiosity, really quick, what does weapon quality mean?
Well, it means that the smiths of the clans would bring forth their weapons and test how strong they are by just trying to break each other's presentations.
Oh. Yeah, see, I don't want to break my cool staff.
You
So.
cannot break my sword, and that's the best part.
Yeah, well, none of you built your own magic weapons either, so that
Unfortunately. I mean, I'd be down to give horseback archery a shot.
That's
and
probably,
also
like,
drinking.
the single hardest thing to do if you have not been trained in it in real life.
Exactly.
at least.
So I'm down for drinking, insults, and magic.
Yeah, also drinking. Also, what is magic specifically? Out of curiosity.
I'm really sad that it really can't compete in the music, but that's fine.
demonstrations of magical power. The blood of dragons runs strong among some of the people of North Calagia.
Unfortunately, my magic would be not the kind suited for this.
Well, more to the point, you're a 1/3 caster. You
Exactly. Also, stone throwing for laughs.
If that would be cheating. Honestly, I was gonna be like, I wish I still had the belt so that way I could participate in stone throw and wrestling and wagon pulling. But I feel like
I actually thought of that, and I decided that Aurelia deliberately wouldn't let one of you guys use the belt.
Coward.
All right, Grenache, anything catch your eye?
Nothing's. I mean, maybe the wrestling.
Yeah, he'd probably kick some ass at that.
Please do. I need to see Grenache wrestle.
Yes.
I will bring the fucking baby oil, so help me.
It is worth noting that this is like loose rules wrestling. It's not like grappling specifically.
Oh,
It's
so
like
it's-
MMA.
I was gonna say it's more like WWE than sumo. Got it.
Well, no, because presumably it actually, involves,
An actual
People.
contest of skill.
trying to beat each other. Yeah.
Actually, it's a bit more like bare knuckle boxing, like old-fashioned Queensbury rules boxing.
Oh
where
hell
there
yeah!
is-
Please, Grenache, do this.
Yes, please.
Okay.
where there is grappling is allowed, fists are not protected, and therefore it's a lot of knockdown, drag out fights since nobody aims for the head. Because punching someone's head will break your hand.
Sounds like a coward's talk.
Sure, it's been as long
Yeah,
as I.
or-
Who else
Yeah,
has had a test like this, so why not?
Yeah, just I actually watched a video about it. Like the reason you had that sort of awkward low fists out pose for Queensbury rules is because you're number one trying to protect your chest because that's what people are going for, and number two you've got one arm extended to fend off grappling attempts. So that stance actually made perfect sense at the time for that kind of martial arts. Anyway, we will go through this in order of the events that I have listed. So who is being in the stone throw?
Me.
All right.
I need to make an ass of myself.
Roll a strength check.
This will go well.
Yeah, it's decent.
Considering the fact that you are female and half the height of most of the other competitors, you put on a good show. And people are impressed with the fact that you are throwing stones proportionately larger than everyone else's. Unfortunately, the rules don't take that into account. And
No, but that's the point. I need to show them how great goblins are.
so you do place in the top 10.
Yeah. Lily's definitely gonna gloat, is all I'm saying.
Who's in for wrestling?
I think we've already decided that one.
Yeah, but more people can join.
Come on, Lake. Lake should wrestle.
No, I have a strength of -1. Fuck you.
All right. Well, as a dex-based monk, you're able to roll with acrobatics and not athletics for this.
Damn, I
Alrighty.
should have fucking joined in wrestling then.
Good thing it was acrobatics.
Actually, can I join wrestling? Now that I know this secret.
You are not trained in armed combat, so you would have disadvantage. But then you would also have advantage for being a much smaller and slippery target.
So it balances out.
So yeah, roll acrobatics as well. Let's see what happens.
So just normal.
Yep, just one.
For reference, that's actually 20. Because I'm proficient in acrobatics, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Reliable talent. All right, so an interesting moment comes when. Oh, that's right. Old music is done.
Oh.
New music is now. An interesting moment comes when Grenache and Lily are paired together, with both of you just sort of hopping around, jumping on handstands, squirming out of each other's grip. You end up not dealing very much damage to each other because you're so focused on avoiding each other. But eventually, Grenache, you get tricked out of the ring and disqualified therefore by doing so.
Did you learn from that school?
Look, I learned from the School of Hard Knocks.
I don't think that's what it's called.
Lily goes on to defeat several more opponents in the same methods, through avoidance and trickery rather than through landing blows. But you do eventually meet your match, who just picks you up in a hole that you can't squirm out of and just suplex you out of the ring.
Worth it. I got to make everyone else look like an ass.
You me, you ass.
Yeah, you know what you did.
All right, anyone attempting the wagon pull?
Do any of us actually have strength?
I don't think so. I have negative strength. That has to count for something.
No.
I'm,
I mean, Aurelia does, but she's judging, so.
yeah.
It
I mean,
specifically counts against you. Well, yes, so you do watch as some of the bulkiest human beings you have ever seen in your life line up in front of these giant wagons that are designed to carry those huge yurts that you've seen, the communal chieftains' yurts. And they just grab the harnesses that dozens of horses are supposed to be lined up in to pull these massive things across the plains. And one by one, they start pulling the damn wagon forward. And the judges for the event very carefully measure how far the wagon moves from the starting point before the person finally gives up and runs out of strength. Some of them are moving it several yards across the field. I mean, the wagon is not loaded up with a yurt and everything inside of it, but it's still pretty impressive to watch. So, nobody's a horse breeder, so that one just goes by.
I mean, Aurelia dabbled, but.
I
You
imagine
dabble in
Aurelia-
animal husbandry. Got it.
I imagine Aurelia has people who dabble for her.
Well, yes, same thing, really. If you think about it.
So, horse riding tricks. Anybody want to do stunts on horseback?
What about on Griffinback?
Wait, is the horse doing stunts or am I doing stunts?
Yes.
Do I ride that shit like a skateboard and do a sweet ollie? Then I kick flip my horse.
Yeah, the answer to your question is yes. You are getting the horses to perform stunts, and you are performing stunts on top of the horse.
That is doing stunts.
God, the worst thing about this is how many of these things Aurelia would be good at.
I don't trust myself with handling animals, but also doing sweet tricks on horseback is hilarious.
You know what? Sure, I should give it a try.
All right. Well, in that case, I will need animal handling and then acrobatic.
Animal handling and then acrobatics, yes?
Yes.
Okay. Normal rolls?
Yes, nothing special.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I'm just flabbergasted that somebody's actually proficient in animal handling in this campaign.
Yeah, I was like wondering why Grenache was friends to all the animals.
It is a wisdom skill. All right, so that obstacle course that you observed from the sky is for this event. It is for convincing horses to jump over fences, ride under obstacles, while the rider slips onto the side of the horse in order to avoid them. And you see that some of the more showy riders are doing things like saddle handstands while the horse is trotting and going completely around the horse, from just sort of slipping out of the saddle underneath the horse's chest and then back up into the saddle on the other side. And a couple of them are also just leap from one horse to another as they gallop past each other. And Grenache, on your you managed to convince your borrowed horse to do most of the tricks available on the course. And unfortunately, you're not quite as sure on your feet when you're not actually on your feet. And so while you are, you avoid falling off and getting trampled under your horse's legs, you aren't able to perform quite the same skill that you see on display.
Makes sense.
And horseback archery. I believe Lily was interested in that one.
Yes. Okay, but now I just want a Benihana horse, is all I'm saying.
All right. Since you are not competing for a clan, you are allowed to use your crossbow rather than one of their compound bows for this.
Okay.
But you will need to roll animal handling to make sure your horse goes in the right direction, and then roll an attack roll with your crossbow.
The really hard part is the animal handling roll.
Mm-hmm.
Please, flub. Please, flub. Please, flub.
Well, I am rolling disgustingly average.
Well, might have been below average so far.
Yeah. And so you don't get through the archery course the fastest, but you do land your bolts on every one of the targets along the route. Not in the center every time, but enough for the audience to cheer once you return to the start.
Like, as long as everyone's having fun, that's what matters.
All right. And, well, day has begun to, or daylight has begun to fade, and so the events move on to the, basically the party events. Drinking, music, and insults and dancing.
Yeah.
So the drinking is actually held a bit later, considering the people who are part of the drinking contest also want to do other things, and yeah, you can imagine. Anyway, music contest. Considering you're carrying a harp around on your bag, you are invited to entertain with music, Aurelia.
Okay. Well, I mean, Fair enough. I suppose she wouldn't really be competing since she's a judge, but if she's invited to perform, she will not turn that down.
I mean, we're just basically showing off. We're not here to compete.
Yeah,
We're here
but
to show off.
you're still getting judged. All right, Aurelia will do something for the music. Probably some kind of traditional Viennese music or something like that. Just give these people a taste of foreign cultures. Fuck. I mean, it's still like fine, you know, but they're not going to be impressed.
Well, they don't quite get the sort of musical tradition that you come from, but they are impressed by the skill that you demonstrate.
Jesus, literally the fucking worst possible result.
And hey, the second worst result is still 17.
Yeah.
I know. Really, it's pretty great.
So then the insult event comes up when the insult event begins when someone stands up onto one of the tables that have been brought out into a communal area where all the clans are eating together, and just sort of points at someone apparently at random, maybe they know each other, and shouts, "Your mother is a whore." You know, starting small.
Right.
I'm going to join in on this eventually. When it starts getting good, I will join in on this. So what do I need to roll?
I would take performance, deception, or persuasion
Well, good
Damn,
thing.
I'm fucking rolled for this shit. Yeah.
from everyone who wants to get involved.
Well, luckily, deception and persuasion are exactly the same, and I get to roll deception a lot less often than I get to roll persuasion. So I'm gonna roll deception for once. Hell
I'll
yeah!
roll deception too.
I'm slightly better at insulting people than you, but only slightly. It's very negligible.
Yeah. As the insults slowly become more creative, and as the participants zero in on the sensitive points of the fellow contestants, both of you get well in to the later stages of the insult contest, but unfortunately, Lily, you run out of good insult ideas just a bit before Lake does. And as a matter of fact, Lake places in the top 5
Hell yeah!
based on who's left standing.
Can I punch Lake in the kidneys?
I mean, you can, but it'd be very highly frowned upon because this isn't the wrestling contest.
Well, you say that, but some of the contestants did in fact disqualify themselves by getting into a fistfight.
So do you want to be disqualified is the question.
No.
It's sort of a matter of how you want to be disqualified. 'Cause as it is, Lily does place like 6th.
Yeah. I'm so happy because I was ready and willing to burn a lucky on that.
Look, it's fine. I can hurt you later.
So
Just remember, I
then,
know where you sleep. Or don't.
I don't.
so then comes the dancing competition. A big bonfire is lit, and basically teams of 2, not necessarily dancing cheek to cheek, but always in pairs, come up and dance to the tune of the winners of the music contest. And you note that it's not necessarily a matter of creating a dancing routine so much as just showing off your skill and strength and dexterity by just performing the most outrageous and difficult dance stunts.
I need to be in on this. Question is, who do I con into dancing with me?
I take one big step back behind Brunesh.
It sure wasn't gonna be you.
No, see, I thought you were going to go with me
Lily's
because of the
limited
comedy
by
option.
size issues.
All right, so here's the deal. Between the two of you, I need one acrobatics and one athletics.
I'll be acrobatics.
Who's the other person in this?
Yeah, that's the issue. I said it's not gonna be Lake.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Let me tell you, you can either choose from my glorious acrobatic skill of +0 or my glorious athletic skill of -1.
Could I con Marlia into this just to have fun? This is the real question.
Grunash, your thoughts?
Does Grenache want to dance?
I mean, if you want to risk a +2 and, falling on your face.
These are the questions we must ask. The trials and tribulations that we must face.
If you got someone better in mind, or go for it. But given my
I
rules
think-
tonight, and
I
probably having a
think-
+2.
I honestly think it would be cute if Lily conned Marlia into doing this.
Please, I need this.
All right, well, Marlia is not really the athletic type, so roll
Doesn't need to
persuasion.
be. It's about having fun. Really, at the end of the day, that's what this is about.
Look, if you need a wingman, Aurelia is willing to roll persuasion for you.
That's actually an 18.
Not enough.
Damn.
She's really not a...
God, what the fuck?
What the shit, Bob?
Literally.
That was just for fun. I'm
anything
not
else
actually helping.
Would have been.
I don't know what to tell you guys.
Grenache,
Marlia's not the dancing type, and she just shuts down completely when you push her.
I'm,
could
You
ask
try to push
Silky,
her.
but
I was-
I wouldn't do that to Aurelia.
I wasn't
Well, Silky
actually.
would get you a +3.
Damn. Why do all of you suck at it? I'm bringing Grenache into this. Grenache, let's fucking do this. I don't care if you've got 2 left feet. I believe in you, even though I really shouldn't.
You really shouldn't after everything today.
Yeah, you've done fine.
Eh. Okay. And athletics on my part?
Yes.
Eh.
You function successfully as a springboard for Lily's high-flying flips and swings.
You exist to make me look better.
Yeah. At least it didn't make you fall on your face, so I'll take that.
Yeah, you actually did surprisingly well, all things considered.
Mm-hmm.
At least it wasn't another 3.
And the judges aren't too impressed by Grenache, and so the two of you don't make a top 10 placement, but they do make a point of mentioning just how amazing Lily was and how far into the air she managed to get safely without breaking anything upon landing.
It's because I'm so squat. My compact form helps me make landings better.
Plus, you're light enough that Grenache, who is, bigger and bulkier than the average human, is able to just sort of toss you around like a baton.
Exactly.
All right, with all of that done, it's time for the drinking contest.
Hell yeah!
Time to get plastered.
Woo!
All right, everyone who wants to participate must make Constitution saving throws against 10, 15, and 20 in that order.
Okay.
Holy shit!
Lily thought this was a milk drinking contest.
Well,
God damn.
okay, so I got the 10.
You got the 10.
Beat 10.
I got 15.
Yes, beat 50.
Lucky. Damn it! Damn it! No, I was
Fucking
using.
lucky again.
No, I can't. Bobbin has stated a house rule that I can only use lucky once per roll.
Thank you, Bobbin.
Yeah, put that in place a while back.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah. Lily forgot that she was going to be participating in the drinking contest and got smashed earlier. And so once it begins, she gets one drink down and just slumps over. That's it for the night.
Oh, I'm just imagining her Doc Brown in Back to the Future Part 3.
The
Meanwhile,
world's still spinning from all the twirls in the air.
yeah, that probably didn't help either.
Doesn't help that Lily took part in like half of the events.
Yeah. And but yeah, Lake gets halfway through the contest. Over half the competitors have tapped out one way or another, but you do not make it to the end. And you're just barely conscious enough to notice someone's arm getting raised up in the air and just waving it.
Good job. Give a thumbs up. Good job.
And that's it. And that's it. for the
You
night.
try to give a thumbs up, it turns into a thumb sideways.
Yeah.
You don't remember which way is up anymore.
Somebody
And,
point it up for me.
Meanwhile, while 3 of the party members are participating in the contests, Aurelia, something interesting happens as you judge certain contests. With some of them, it's fairly obvious who would win. Like the last person standing for the wrestling matches, the person who gets closest to the center each time for the horseback archery contest. But some of the things are a little more esoteric, or a little more cultural, or based on the bias of the judge.
Mm-hmm.
Like subjective, yes.
Yeah, music, for example.
Music,
Insults.
the quality of horses. Insult is actually relatively easy. Like I said, it's last person standing for that too.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the dancing, the embroidery contest that just sort of happens in the background. I mean, the embroidery contest is just basically a bunch of clothing stands stacked up along one side of the event space for the skill of the embroiderer to be displayed.
Right.
Same thing with the weapon quality. It's got its own sort of area in the moot. And for these, you have trouble figuring out which one should be the best. But then, when you consider certain contestants, certain robes and weapons, you feel the wind that's constantly surrounding you push a little stronger towards one of them, or towards another.
Interesting.
And when you indicate the thing that the wind pushes you towards, the other judgment, the shaman who's been basically your escort this whole time, nod and smile. And apparently they are impressed by your keen eye.
Interesting. Well, I guess I'm just a genius. All right. I mean, I don't know. I'd assume it's like Onos or something is helping me.
That would be a sensible guess.
Pretty safe assumption.
I feel like Aurelia's not really gonna worry about that. She's just gonna, yeah. But I mean, she'll go along with the wind's suggestions if, unless there were a case where she really wanted to go against them. But I'm assuming there probably wouldn't be.
Well, you are a bit out of your depth in those specific instances.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So yeah, sure. Aurelia will just pretend that she totally is making these decisions on her own.
Even if you told them you're not, I think they would still be impressed.
I mean, it's impressive either way, but Aurelia, as much as she is enjoying the benefit of being a representative of a god, she actually would prefer, generally speaking, to play up her own abilities.
She wanted to take the credit as well.
Yeah, I mean, both being a genius and being chosen by God are things that will impress people, but Aurelia
exactly. Aurelia has an ego the size of a small nation. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
The size of her small nation.
Yes. She has an ego the size of a small nation, and the small nation go with it. So, but that has pretty much been her one of her major character traits from the very beginning. So yes.
All right. So, as the evening's festivities end, as two of your companions are dragged away, and actually just for the hell of it, Silky would also be part of some of these contests. Haven't bothered rolling for her, but I will just see how she does with the drinking.
Okay. Please tell me she wins. Come on.
I need her to destroy this.
Come on, Silky.
Well, that's the 10.
That's a good start. No!
No.
She does not make it as far as Lake does, but she does not tap out as soon as Lily did.
Fuck you.
Lily just basically took a sip and just knocked out.
Look, it's not Lily's fault that she knows how to party.
I don't think she even touched the drink, just face planted into it as soon as it was put down.
No,
Well,
it's
there's also
promise
the
she
fact
went into the competition drunk was the issue.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also the fact that you have approximately 1/8 the body weight of the other contestants. And they did not take that into account.
Just like a stone throwing.
Yep. No, there's usually only humans showing up for these things, so they... Anyway. So as they drag 3 of your companions into the tent to sleep off their drinks, and as Grenache just... Well, what would Grenache want to do with the rest of your evening?
Honestly, I'd probably just continue to observe events going on.
Everybody's packing up for the night, though.
Alright, is anybody doing anything interesting?
Well, there are a few night owls just sort of sitting over drinks, sort of catching up for the first time in months or years.
Alright, well, if Aurelia can...
Aurelia is going to be busy.
Oh, I'm
This is
sorry.
just-
I thought you were asking Aurelia as well. Okay.
Oh no, I'm figuring out what Grenache is doing, and then we're
Aurelia
going over to
has-
you.
Yeah, Aurelia has obligations.
Yeah. Well, if they wouldn't mind discussing with a foreigner, basically, I'd be up for talking with them.
All right, so you grab a drink, not for chugging, but just for sipping, and sit in on some of the conversations. Pipe up with an observation or two every once in a while, maybe, but otherwise just sit and listen and sort of absorb the culture and the expectations of the people around you.
Yeah, and probably answer a few questions that they'll probably have about me being, what I am.
Oh yeah, yeah. And from them, you find out that the people of the Wilderlands are actually a fairly friendly bunch, considering that they raid each other regularly, and they raid across the borders as well. But that aside, that they apparently just sort of consider that a fact of life, and
It's just
not
business.
not something to hold against a fellow comrade.
Yeah, that's something I could contrast with my own home, which tribal conflicts there are commonplace apparently, and
Yeah.
there's no camaraderie from that. It's
Well, the orcs back from where you live are relatively friendly, but
but
they're
not this
also
much.
just as capable of holding grudges as the gnolls and the goblin folk and the humans of the untamed land in the south.
Yeah, I'd say there's some similarities there, but there's quite a bit of difference as well, and it's
Yeah, the attitude here. Well, you do get the sense that grudges are not unknown, that rivalries certainly exist, but they seem perfectly capable of setting all of that aside in order to come together for events like this one. It's, compartmentalization that you haven't come across before.
yeah. It's something that Kunash will definitely be lamenting over through the night.
All right. Meanwhile, Aurelia, after your friends who are ready for bedtime are taken away, Shaman Wastel takes you aside into his private tent, sits down with you, asks you a few basic small talk questions. Oh, how did you like today? Wasn't the weather lovely? Before finally getting to the point, saying, "So you're not familiar with the clans of the Wilderland, so you probably didn't notice this. But Clan Ruvuk did not make very many appearances during the events."
I did not notice that. I'm pretty sure I didn't notice that, right?
You have no context with which to notice.
Right, that's what I figured. Just checking.
Clan Ruvuk, they're one of the smaller clans, not one of the big three that are competing to be the Kagan. And they pitched their tents, came off to one side at the edge of the moot. And for whatever reason, they decided not to participate today after your arrival.
I see.
I bring this up because they are not just being unfriendly, I believe. We have spread the word of the false speakers that you brought our attention to before.
Yes.
Our clan personally has met and challenged a dozen speakers who claim to be of the dragons. We demanded they show their true forms, and when they did not, we slew them all. The other
Nice.
clans have said similar. The other clans have boasted similar numbers, but of course that's just silly. There aren't that many dragons wandering around the Wilderland.
Well, think we've established that they're not really dragons.
Well, yeah, that's the
Oh.
point.
Well, but still. Perhaps you do not know this either, but it is in the nature of our clans to exaggerate.
Right. No, I actually
We may
did
not
kind of
have-
pick up on that.
We may not have actually slain a full dozen false dragons ourselves, to be perfectly honest.
All right. Well, I appreciate your honesty, I suppose. I really honestly don't care that much either way.
Well, the work is getting done, is the point. And the only clan not to boast of their prowess at killing false dragons is Clan Ruvok. As a matter of fact, they seemed somewhat offended by the enthusiasm which the rest of us have shown in killing the liars who travel the plains.
Time to torch some yurts.
We have made no move against them because we have been waiting to hear what your advice would be in dealing with these.
Well, I think that perhaps the best course of action would be to have my compatriot, as well as myself, speak with some of them and to try to determine whether they have been. I've totally forgotten how much we already told this guy. If we told him about the worm or whatever.
I think we just told him about the false prophets.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think now, given that he knows we were telling the truth about the false prophets and everything, the false dragons, now would probably be a good time to give him some more background on the worm and on all that nonsense.
Not really a teetotaler so much as just, maybe let's not kill our liver for a contest.
Oh, whatever, you can use magic to regenerate that right back.
Look, Lily usually tries to avoid drinking, but sometimes you can't help but let loose.
Alright, so what's the timetable that Aurelia is thinking of here?
Well, I wasn't sure. I was thinking maybe tomorrow, but if there's a concern, we could do it faster, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, would they all be asleep, like, by now? Although I guess we could detect it even if they were asleep, right? So.
Yeah, that the worm infection does not change based on
Yeah.
whether one is awake or asleep.
Right. So, okay.
And they would have sentries. All of the clans have sentries.
Yeah, well, we can check the sentries then.
Like I said, they're relatively friendly, but relatively friendly also includes sneaking into camps and killing that bastard who raped your sister that one time.
Right. All right. Well, yes, perhaps it would be better to check immediately then. But yes, but first Aurelia is going to explain the worm stuff to this guy.
All right. He takes you completely seriously. Actually mentions that, yes, that does clear a few things up, like the way they seem to decompose quite quickly after we killed them. Or at least the worms started getting into their heads immediately.
Right. Yeah, all right. In that case, I think we should perhaps move quickly to try to determine what is up with them, and if they are infected as a clan, then it probably, well, okay. In long term, it will be necessary to kill them. Whether that is the best thing to do immediately, I suppose I would have to defer somewhat on to what would be appropriate. I mean, I understand it might be problematic to have that sort of violence, even under the circumstances, in the middle of this meeting.
While the contests have been going on, the Kagans have been speaking with one another. The suspicious actions of the clan Ruvok, they happened days ago. and so we have had time to consider what to do. If they are infected, if they are not worth returning, we can slaughter them all tomorrow. In the morning, perhaps.
All right. Well, I will leave that. I'll leave that to you and the Kagans then. But I mean, I'm happy to help, but I will leave the decision about the timing to you.
I will speak with them. Come back and tell me just what the state of Clan Ruvok is, and
Yes.
we will make our final preparations based on what you
I will
what
do
you provide.
So Aurelia's gonna go find Grenache.
Grenache would still be mingling with the others.
Yeah. Hey,
Still in it.
Grenache. Would you mind helping me with something?
Sure, what's up?
Well, Aurelia's gonna lead him out of earshot of anyone else,
Yeah, of course, I
and then
give my parting farewells to the others.
Tom, we need to check one of the clans that's made camp on the outskirts for worm infestation.
Yeah, that's something suspicious about it.
Sorry?
Something suspicious about it. I have noticed that.
Yes. Aurelia will give Grenache the rundown, basically.
Right. Yeah, that does seem like the worm's avoidance at work there. Okay. Temper,
Yes.
I presume you heard everything there?
Yes. If we can get close enough to the tents, you will not have to go inside for me to sense the worm's presence. However, I would prefer that you investigate the entire camp, just to make sure that
Understood.
all those present are infected or not. If any of them are innocent, I would want to know first.
Of course. Cover of night would help me, but Aurelia,
Mm-hmm.
you happen to know how to turn people invisible, yes?
Yes, I can make you invisible.
Good. That would aid me in this endeavor.
All right. Aurelia will make Grenache invisible at the appropriate time.
Well, that would probably be about right now.
Okay.
It will take less than an hour to fully investigate the camp.
Yeah. And with that invisibility in place, I will go around with Temper and explore the camp.
All right. Roll stealth with advantage twice.
Second better than the first, at least.
Mm-hmm. So, you do have some difficulty infiltrating the camp. The people on watch seem fairly alert and familiar enough with magic to not just assume that an empty space is really empty. However, you do not bring up a full alert by the time that you get into the center of camp, where Temper is able to make a full sweep of all the people in Clan Ruvok. You will, however, have to make your escape along the other side so that she can get the few people left that she has not been able to sense yet. So that is
Okay.
one more stealth check with advantage.
That's an advantage.
Oh boy. Yes, you safely exit the camp. And you find yourself on the outskirts of the moot itself. The area around you is quite dark at this point, although the half moon provides some amount of light, just enough so that you can see the footing or watch your feet in front of you. And even with dark vision, you can only understand so much of your surroundings.
I have to make sure I don't fall on my face on the way back, at least.
Yeah. And once you are safely away from the sentries, you hear Temper say, "How monstrous. The entire clan is infected. Men, women, and children."
Gross.
Time to torch some yurts.
All right. Well, I will go report to the shaman. I mean,
And there's nothing we can do for them.
him too if he wants. Well,
No. I was able to help Lily's friend because of her particular connection. And the fact that I could override that connection with my own. For ordinary people infected, we would need divine intervention of a very particular sort.
Aurelia picks up her rod, sort of taps it, and like, "Hey, Onos, if you can hear me, now would be a good time to help."
Ah, yes, and then lightning comes down and torches all the yurts.
Nothing in particular happens, no.
See, this is why you can't trust gods.
Yeah, Onos is
When you
big on
need
helping those who help themselves, you see?
All right, well, let's go report, and let's leave the child killing to our new friends.
Mm,
Mhm. The children, too, you say?
Yep.
Well, I suppose to an enemy like this, age would not be terribly important to it.
it would appear not.
Presumably not.
And the least we can do is put them out of their future misery. A storm of arrows, then. Burning would be too vicious. Too slow.
Very appropriate. The music got to a very sad sounding
Yeah!
part. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I suppose I will go get some sleep.
If you can get some sleep.
Yeah.
Yes, if.
Lily's doing great.
Yeah. Aurelia is just gonna cuddle her very drunk girlfriend.
Morning comes, and you hear the sounds of a commotion waking you up just as dawn comes, just as the sun begins to peak over the steep mountains surrounding this flat area. And as you exit your yurt, you see that there's actually no one around you right at the moment, any of your yurts. But as you follow the sound of the commotion, you find out that just about everybody who can carry a bow, men, women, and some of the older children, in fact, among the clans,
Should have brought me along.
is armed and is standing, watching, waiting for their clan leaders, their khans, to tell them what to do next. The Khans themselves are sort of arrayed together, lined up, showing support to one another. And they are presenting that line towards Clan Ruvok, who has gathered in front of their own tents in their area. This is happening in between the slightly to one side Clan Ruvok camp and the rest of the moot. That's where everybody's gathered together.
All right.
And the representative, the Khan of Clan Ruvok, is shouting at the other collected Khans, casting aspersions, insulting their parentage, demanding why they would take the word of an outsider over the trusted clan that has been the friends of all the assembled clans at one time or another. And depending on their temperament, the assembled Khans are shouting back, standing still with arms crossed, or just sort of whispering amongst each other. But you do get the sense that their minds have already been made up. And really the issue is that all of the people assembled from Clan Ruvok are also armed. And it's sort of set up as a standoff. Nobody is mounted at this particular moment, but nobody's quite willing to fire the first arrow.
Damn. I could fire the first arrow. It's more of a bolt, really, but...
I don't know if that would be a good idea. Or maybe it would be. I don't know.
Look, I am the representative of the one chosen by Onos.
Well, they do, in fact, when you make your appearance, turn in your direction. And the,
Just putting that out there.
all right.
Oh. Okay.
So, Khan Ruvok turns to you and says, "There, the outsiders. They shoot, they trick you with parlor tricks. Or whatever saying would make more sense for a bunch of nomads. They trick you with illusions and paltry winds. And they expect you to believe them just because..." And then the bolt enters his neck.
Don't you fucking dare question Onos.
And Aurelia,
Mm-hmm.
as everybody goes for their arrows, you suddenly get this feeling that if you pull out Lord Onos's rod and point at the field in between and just sort of make a sweeping motion to cover the field in between the assembled clans,
Mm-hmm.
something good will happen.
All right, I do that. Trust your instincts.
I love
Especially
divine
when it's
winds.
given you by God.
All right. In that moment of stunned silence, that is very quickly replaced by the creaking of bows and wood creaking against horn and glue and sinew. Quickly pull out the rod, sweep it in front of you, and suddenly a giant blast of wind comes from your surroundings and pushes upwards, it would seem, based on the effect it has on the people around you. A wall of wind has pushed its way between the clan. And many of the archers here fire their arrows. They were already in the process of doing so, not quite aware of what was about to happen. And you notice that the arrows of Clan Ruvuk are caught in the wind wall and scattered upwards harmlessly, while the remaining assembled clans, their arrows, fire straight through as if the wind was not there, and begin to strike their targets.
Well, I suppose that's that. Feel slightly bad about the child murder, but I'm gonna try not to think about it.
I don't feel bad.
Well, you wouldn't, would you?
I mean, they are already dead, really.
I mean, sort of.
There was nothing we could do to help them.
Yeah, I'm aware.
I think everybody in that field can identify this as a divine power of some kind.
Pretty blatant.
Okay, so having known that, I looked at her earlier and go, so do you believe it now?
What?
I don't think I really ever doubted the power of Onos.
Sorry, I missed what you said there, Tiamos.
You've long been a disbeliever of gods and their powers. So what now?
No, I mean, I always figured that some existed.
It's more like a common acceptance
really
rather than absolute worship.
Worshipping.
Yeah.
That said, you know, now that they're doing shit for me,
Yeah, that's what I figured.
yeah, Aurelia it isn't sparing too much thought for that. I mean, yes, there's clearly some kind of divine power. It's helping us. I'm cool with that. Also, this wouldn't be the moment that Aurelia would have some kind of revelation. The part where we literally saw a god like wake up and Deus Ex Machina a bunch of shit for us would probably be the point that she would have a change of heart if she was going to. So,
only one god worth worshipping in Lily's eyes.
One god and one set of hips. Bam.
Exactly.
So, after Lord Onos clearly makes his will known, the clans continue to fire at the assembled Clan Ruvuk, and those who begin to run are chased down by the riders among the other clans, and there's screaming, there's fire, there's the twang of bows and the thunk of arrows hitting home. But fortunately, you don't have to engage in any of that yourself. The clans seem to be cleaning this mess up themselves with a practiced hand.
Well, that's good.
And at this point, Temper whispers to Grenache, this clan would have been the last stronghold of the cult of the dragon. If his gemstone is anywhere, it would be among the tents.
Oh, really?
Would you be able to find it?
I am not attuned to phylacteries. We will have to search.
Okay, I'll help search. Hell yeah, I'm gonna find this gem and I'm gonna break it.
Yeah, I relay that information to the others.
Yeah. You guys find it. I'm good.
You are allowed to assist Lily and thereby give her advantage.
Oh, sure.
Also, it's a 24, but really useful advantage there.
Some days, you know.
Yeah, pretty
Some
much.
days.
Some days you just have all the luck.
It's been super average rolls all day.
Yeah.
No, that's a bad thing. Could be worse, but yeah. So that's a 24.
All right. So you remember that the dragon told you that that the phylactery was a gemstone made out of solid jade, fairly large. And so you quickly start running between the tents. The big one in particular, and with the eye of a practiced professional, you manage to gather together a good, let's say, 5,000 gold pieces worth of gems, valuables, and assorted saleable items.
Those go in the hole.
And among them is a large jade carving of a dragon.
Could I cut into it with the sunblade?
Wait, hold on. We're just supposed to destroy it? We don't have to do anything else with it?
Isn't that how phylacteries work?
I guess.
Roll Arcana. Yes, that is how phylacteries work.
Okay.
I want to cut into it with the sunblade because it feels really fitting for a holy weapon.
I mean, hold on. I'm just throwing this out there. Would it be better to use the holy weapon that literally has guided us to this point?
Yeah, but I want to break it.
I mean, okay.
With a 20, you would actually know that a lich's phylactery, and presumably a dracolich as well, is stiffly warded against all forms of damage. It requires a spectacularly powerful weapon or source of flames or other damage in order to destroy a phylactery, such as a holy artifact.
Okay, which one?
Your sunblade is radiant, but not a holy artifact.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, fucking go to town on it.
Oh,
And
right.
let's just say that since you didn't roll Arcana, you get to find this out yourself as you activate Protodor's light and go honk, honk, honk. The blade just sort of passes right through the jade as if it's not even there.
Just whatever. Bang on that drum all day long.
All right. Now, here's the question: which form of the
Cleave it in two with the axe.
rod is best? Well, what if I use the battering ram to just smash it? Or I could just use the flame tongue mode.
And you're more used to the flame tongue, but I like the idea of cleaving it in two with the battle axe.
Okay. No. Well, here's what Aurelia's gonna do. She's gonna toss it up in the air and try to cut it in half with the flame tongue in the air. Now, would that work? Obviously, in reality, it wouldn't work. But this is magic bullshit, so it might work. And if it does work, it'll look really cool.
Well, it
Want me to
does.
make a roll. Okay.
It is the holiness of this artifact does not change based on what form it is currently in.
Fair.
And so with a flash that turns into a bright explosion of light, it causes all of you to go blind momentarily and see spots for the next few minutes. The jade statue is cut in half. And after that happens, the the brilliant green of the jade just sort of fades and seems to dissolve away, and in its place is an utterly black serpent.
Pour one out for you, boy.
And as a matter of fact, the scales and the frills along the sides of the dragon seem to just sort of fade away along with its color. So it goes from a worm with a Y to a worm with an O.
Dun dun dun.
How long have you been sitting on that one?
I just made it up.
He's just that good, guys. All right. Well.
And then, Aurelia, you suddenly recall something, which is a bit odd, because you can't quite remember when you learned this information or who told it to you, and yet you are confident that what you're thinking about is true. What you're thinking about is that you have reached a crossroads, and there are two options ahead of you.
Me personally, or all of us?
You personally.
Oh, I see.
Option 1. You give the Rod of Lord Onos' might to Clan Austrin. They won the moot, and so they deserve to be Kagan. And even if you don't hand over the item, they should be told that information. If you hand it over, it will become a symbol of rulership in the Wilderland. It will pass from clan to clan as each one challenges the others for leadership through war, through contests, through marriage, through all the other various ways that power changes hands out here. Over time, over centuries, the rod will encourage the clans to range further and further north, spreading the influence of the fire chi into the Northlands, until eventually they will melt the ice that is currently locking Sharagrava in its tomb. And from that day forth, the wandering tribes of the Wilderland will have a permanent spot that they can call home. A spot that will never fall to the chi of metal again. And, for that matter, could one day, over millennia, help to heal this land and remove the chi that defines its borders.
This sounds like a pretty good option. I'm kind of curious what the other one's going to be.
Option 2. You keep the Rod of Lord Onos' might. And in exchange, you accept the role of prophet. Specifically, Onos would want you to reintroduce his worship to Karostak, where the people have forgotten him. Lord Onos is a god of rulership, stability, and enlightenment, which is something that the war-torn realm of Relgoth desperately
Oh no! Don't make me choose.
Don't make me choose between my babies.
Okay,
And
keep going.
instead, they worship Lord Onos' son, the son, Protodor, who is a god of war, defined by his rivalry with his brother the Moon, Antidor. By bringing Lord Onos back, you could stabilize the region, potentially, although that too would be an effort of centuries.
Well,
I
I plan to
mean-
live for centuries, so...
And for that matter, you can tell that Onos plans to do both of these things eventually. So the main question is whether you want to take part in this, because if you do, then you will find out that the rod has many more powers locked away that could unlock if you provide concrete results. And if you continue pursuing the influence of the worm, that is something else that Lord Onos would want you to do. I mean, it wants to destroy everything. He's kind of against that, too.
Oh, man.
I feel like wanting peace and stability for Relgoth would probably be the more Aurelia thing.
It's very tough. It's very tough, and I'll tell you why. Because as Grunash sort of pointed out, although Grenache was maybe a little bit off on exactly how Aurelia thinks about it, but Aurelia is not religious. She doesn't really like gods, and she doesn't really like the idea of dedicating herself to a god. But uniting Relgoth
As a
and
ruler.
bringing peace to Relgoth is one of her dreams. It's
Also, that would be her legacy.
ever since she ever since she became ruler of Vienna, it's been something she's thought about as like an ambition for the future.
I will say
yeah,
that Aurelia has also realized other things at this moment, and so if you, the player, have additional questions, I can tell you what else Aurelia now knows.
Man, I can't believe Prodador is the sun god.
Oh man, well, okay. What if I have additional questions? I mean, I guess I am sort of curious about what you mean when you say he plans for like both of these things to happen anyway. Because
It's a matter of time scale, I think, is the point.
Oh.
I wanted to say, which would feed into Aurelia's ego more? Saving one
Delusions
kingdom
of grandeur.
or saving an entire continent?
I mean, yes, Aurelia, that's the thing. Aurelia does like the idea of, letting this continent get fixed. The whole weird chi thing, she doesn't really approve of that. At the same time, if it's going to happen eventually anyway, then she would feel less bad about taking it for herself.
Yes. These are basically the two most important projects that Onos intends to proceed on now that his artifact has re-entered the world. One will happen, and the other will also happen if he is able to find the right people on both continents to enact his will.
So I think finding people, spreading his worship on Relgoth would probably help that a bit.
And it would be simultaneous. I mean, if it's not you, then someone will eventually bring the rod to Relgoth and reintroduce Lord Onos to the people there.
Yeah, well, I think it's a difference of time scale.
If someone is going to do it anyway, then that really makes me feel like Aurelia should be the one to do it. Okay, a couple more questions. One, is there any possibility that the downside of the rod could ever be overcome? Because, oh my god, I hate the downside of the rod so much.
No, but you will find additional powers to continue to compensate for it.
Okay, well, that's sad, but all right.
There is no artifact without some kind of downside to it.
I suppose. It just doesn't have to be that downside. All right. Okay.
Also, you will not need to take any cleric class levels, although that is entirely possible if you wanted to. But if you don't, then you will continue to get powers through the rod instead.
And I think Aurelia can still put on a good show.
I mean, I think cleric class levels are definitely off the table on account of Aurelia has terrible wisdom, and that, I mean,
And you
I
can
would
still put
maybe
on a good
consider
show.
paladin if that would work, but I think she'd probably just keep being a bard. Oh man, okay. I mean, if I need to make a decision now, then I think I have to go with keeping the rod.
It's about Aurelia's legacy, yeah.
But if I have time to think about it, I would not mind delaying the decision, like between sessions, so I have more time to think about it out of character.
Well, you do need to make a decision now, but you can always reverse the decision later, assuming your decision now is to keep the rod, because once it's out of your hands, it's not coming back.
I still feel like the
Right.
most Aurelia move would be to keep the rod.
Yes, I enjoy how everyone has an opinion, but the opinions are not all the same.
But
Of what it really would do.
No, I was just positing that question of which
I
would
see.
feed her ego more.
I mean, the one that would feed her ego more is the one where she's essentially involved in the thing, and where she gets to be remembered as the hero who united Relgoth for generations to come. And I mean, frankly, let's not forget that Relgoth is named after the hero who united Relgoth last time. So,
well, funny thing about that, when you think about Relgoth, additional information comes into your head. Like, he is why Lord Onos was forgotten.
oh,
Relgoth was a champion of Protodor, the god of war, as you might assume from a great conqueror.
No wonder why
Right.
Lily's so violent.
And in the process of fulfilling that, he and in order to make Protodor the chief god, the leader of the pantheon, he destroyed all record of Lord Onos and his two wives. That's why the legends say that the earth gave birth to several of the gods, but the earth in this context is unnamed.
right.
And for that matter, you suddenly realize who Lord Onos' second wife was, or is.
Who?
Thebe, the female aspect of the moon.
Ah, interesting. I don't know what that is. All right.
Well, you've always heard that the moon is male, named
Right.
Antidor, and is the great rival of Protodor. Apparently this is still true, but like Onos himself, the moon has several aspects.
I see. All right. Okay. One more important question. Is there going to be anything specific that is like required of Aurelia in terms of, like, does Onos have requirements for her behavior or her, that she has to do stuff to like worship him or whatever?
Lord Onos prefers followers, well, as the god of leadership. Onos prefers followers who are independent, make their own decisions, and take responsibility for their actions.
Aurelia.
There are
Okay.
specific rights involved that you can explain to people that you would want to found the church itself. But compared to the other gods you're familiar with, it's nothing onerous or unusual. I mean, you've already been sponsoring Protodor basically by default.
Yeah.
And so the services you attend right now are similar in nature, just different in content.
All right.
So it'd be more a case of having the clergy correct their records than anything.
Yeah.
All right. I would also, again, sorry if I'm going on too long. We can like stop and I can do more stuff between sessions. But I also wanted Aurelia to see what Silky thinks of this, because she would value her opinion as well. But I think either way, probably for now, Aurelia will hold on to the rod and make a final decision soon.
All right. Well, you should also be make sure that Khan Ostran knows the good news.
Oh yes, I will tell Ostran the good news.
The Khans.
Is that the one we met before, or is that?
No, Khan Marlon is the one you met before.
Oh,
It's just that Khan Ostran outperformed them.
fair enough. I just couldn't remember the name of the one we met before, but yeah. All right. Well, yes. Let's go do that, and Aurelia will hold for now. And I don't know. Would she be expected to make a scene herself, so to speak, or would she just relay things to the shamans and let them proclaim it?
Well, the Khans are actually still assembled. They've been directing the cleanup of Clan Ruvuk.
Clean up.
Well, I guess everyone did just witness a miracle, so this might be a good time to use my divine authority. All right, yeah. So, Aurelia still wants to consult with her shaman friend.
Well, you can find him without too much
Okay.
difficulty.
Yes.
Yeah,
She'll explain that
fired a couple spells into the crowd.
she knows the will of Lord Onos in the matter of who should be Kagan.
Ah, is it good news?
It's good news in that it's an answer, and that it will hopefully bring peace.
I see. Well, Clan Marlon will never. Clan Marlon will never give up. But we'll accept that we have not won on this day.
Yes. So I
Have
wasn't
you
sure how
What?
I should. I wasn't sure how I should let everyone know.
Oh, well, the Khans are right over there. You should
Okay. So not big on ceremony then.
not particularly.
All right.
But, maybe wave that rod of yours around.
All right. Well, Aurelia will invent some ceremony of her own in that case, because Aurelia is nothing if not ceremonial.
Wing it like a fucking champ.
So she's going to walk over to the Kagans and proclaim that in the name of Lord Onos, she has received Onos's judgment and intends to bestow it upon the Kagan who has been chosen, etc.
Khan Ostran.
Yes. I remember Khan Ostran or whatever, but I was just waiting to make sure they were all listening, and then yes, she will explain that Lord Onos has judged Clan Ostran and thus Khan Ostran, the victors and the rightful Kagan of the Westerlands, etc. And I'm tired.
As you say that and you hold the rod forth, the wind that has been surrounding you for the moment moves over to Khan Ostran and blows his long hair and robes back, Seeing that he has been chosen by the Great Sky, the rest of the cons bend the knee.
Happy
Hooray.
ending. All right.
Yay!
We did it.
We saved another nation.
Yep.
Happy fucking day.
And you defeated the Cult of the Dragon. Sequence broke and got the rod first, which smoothed things over considerably.
So expected to come here and sort of get a chillier reception and then have to go get the rod?
Well, you need the rod in order to destroy the phylactery, if nothing else.
Oh, well.
Fair enough.
So we fought the
And so-
so we fought the final boss of the campaign like midway through, or final boss of the
Adventure.
Yeah.
Yes. The Silver Dragon was basically the final boss.
I
That's
had a
fine. So
feeling. I had a
so
feeling that was.
Did you? I'm curious if you did we surprise you in terms of the order we did it, or did you just deliberately try to leave it so there were quite a few different ways depending on where we wanted to go first?
It was all up to you. I had the images for all 5 regions loaded up by the time you finished with the first one.
Huh.
Fair enough. Well,
Right. I guess we're level
And-
14 now.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yes.
what's gonna happen is Lily's
Yeah.
gonna drink a shitload of water and then pass out on the ship to sleep off the hangover.
You have all leveled up, and because you have accepted Lord Onos's assistance, a wind blows down from the mountains. Fresh wind feels revitalizing and gives each party member +1 to a chosen stat.
Oh, sweet!
So I finally have +6 dex.
I have
then
+6 charisma.
Okay, yeah, I assume that's increasing the maximum like last time.
Yes.
Okay,
Last time it's
you're
take you past the
22
maximum.
charisma.
I have so much dex.
I have so much
Oh.
charisma. Like, me and Aurelia are just like the prettiest people in the fucking world right now.
No,
You
it's
are-
just you're good talkers, not pretty. There's a difference.
I
You
mean,
are beyond
Aurelia is
mortal
definitely-
capacity for.
Yeah.
Okay, so fuck, what's my yes, I got blind sense. Fuck yeah.
Let's see. I get Dark
I get a level
Delirium.
14.
Starting at 14th level, you can plunge a creature into an illusory realm. As an action, choose a creature you can see within 60 feet of you. With some saving throw against my Warlock save DC. On a failed save, it is Charmed or Frightened, my choice, for 1 minute or until your concentration is broken. Until this illusion ends, the creature thinks it is lost in a misty realm, the appearance of which you choose. The creature can see and hear only itself, you, and the illusion.
Crash, where are you spending your extra ability score?
Well, I like even round numbers, so I put my extra into dex.
I mean, even round numbers are objectively important, so yeah,
Yeah.
And
good call.
just keep in mind that when you are given this divine blessing, your cap for that ability also goes up by 1.
Yep.
So if you spent on dexterity twice, then your new cap is dexterity 22,
Yep.
even if it's not there yet.
Yep.
All right. Just so that's clear. All right, just to make that all clear. So going back into monk again.
Actually, I'm gonna bring cleric up to 6.
Oh yeah, I now get a new spell from any school of magic.
I don't get any new spells. Like, literally, the only thing that happens for me is getting Dark Delirium and extra hit points at this point.
Well, it's an
I'm
even.
trying to remember where I put my.
I mean, as far
player's
as
handbook.
like standard level up stuff goes.
Yeah. And yeah, as for the bard, you get another Bardic College feature and magical secrets. More.
Oh my god,
spells.
oh yes, 14 is when I get more magical. Nice.
Next,
Yeah.
next
2
level's
spells
a big
stolen
level
from
for me.
anybody's class list.
I love magical secrets.
Next level
And
is
you
going to
also
be a
get-
big level for me.
And looks like you also get Peerless Skill as a College of Lore bard,
Nice.
which means you can spend bardic inspiration on ability checks.
Hmm.
Oh fuck, that's so awesome. Yes,
Only-
yes. My perform will be amazing.
Only your own, but any
Yes.
skill check you make.
Yes.
Yeah, next level is a big one for me because I get
And
another
I can do
spell
it
on my
after
bardic
I roll, as long as
inspiration.
it's before you tell me whether I succeed or fail.
Yeah, that's usually when you get to add stuff like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, no no new spell level, but more stolen spells.
Yes, I get. Oh, yeah. I think my stolen spells are included in spells known, right?
Oh yeah, it's added
Yeah.
to your spells now, and that doesn't replace anything.
Has everybody
yes.
hit the 100 hit point cap now?
Nope.
Oh,
I'm actually at 98.
Actually, that reminds me. While you're moving stats around, you should be able to modify your pogs while you're at it.
I could get non-detection like a cool dude.
Yeah, like I said, I would like to find out what Silky thinks of the offer that Aurelia has
Oh,
been given, but that can also
Okay.
be between sessions if you prefer.
okay. Just to be clear, the magical secrets is accounted for on the spells known list. So the
Right.
the 2 additional spells known that you get from 13 to 14 are your magical secrets.
Yeah, that's. I was pretty sure that was the case. Just
No, why did I note that?
Just making sure we're all on the same page.
yeah.
And Silky's response is that she's never been that fully with the whole celestial gods in the first place. The Yuan-Ti have a tradition of worshipping snake gods, but then the snake gods fell asleep when the empire fell apart.
just
And so
hibernating. Come on.
And so they've not had that much faith as a people since then.
Right, but what does she think of like the whole idea of bringing? I
Becoming
mean,
a prophet.
Aurelia. I mean, I assume this is a place where they have something in common because Aurelia also doesn't really care much about religion. But this isn't really about a religion for Aurelia. This is about, you know, her legacy and, you know, the realm and everything. Does Silky have an opinion on that?
Well, as it is, all the gods of Relgoth are war gods. I think maybe it would do some good to have a god of peace.
All right. Well, if Silky's on
Even
board,
if-
I'm on board. I
It-
think.
Even if you and I don't care too much about the god, then at the very least, it would be nice to have an option. One who isn't constantly saying we must raid the neighbors. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I think Aurelia's going to do it.
Could we get fireball? That's what I need.
Fireball is pretty good.
Nothing says sneak attack like fireball.
No. Dispel
Well.
magic's pretty tempting.
Nothing says distraction like fireball.
True.
That's fair.
There
Range
was
150 feet.
there was a brief moment I was considering multi-classing into rogue because I wanted to see if I could get sneak attacks with my Eldritch Blast. The answer is no. It specifically has to be a melee weapon. So I was like, well, nope, going pure warlock then.
I mean, Arcane Trickster can cast undetected, but that's a whole mess unto itself.
Yeah.
It's like Cleric 6 is also pretty nice. Extra channel divinity, and for the knowledge domain, read thoughts.
Oh
Yep.
yeah.
That seems pretty useful.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I was also briefly considering dipping into like 3 levels of sorcerer so I could get meta magic, but seems like a lot of effort.
Yeah, look, this looks like it doesn't quite work like the spell read thoughts. Like with the
Yeah.
spell read thoughts, you can dig into somebody's head, but in this case, you get their surface thoughts, and then you can suggestion them.
For free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah, it
clearly
turns
I
out
should get
clerics
tons.
are nuts, so
I feel like it would be very appropriate to take at least one cleric spell. At this level, at the very least, with my magical secrets.
create light!
Well, you do actually have a few cleric spells on the basic bard list.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah. Isn't like cure wounds a bard spell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can cast that with my.
Some of the restorations are too.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Lesser restoration. There it is.
I go very hard on the sort of battlefield control spells.
Greater restoration. That's also on the bard list.
Yeah, combat control is very nice. I appreciate it.
I also now know hypnotic pattern as well. But
Wow, you're really just copying all my spells here.
yeah, it's
I don't-
true. You got me.
I don't get any new spells this level. My spells casting stuff is significantly slowed down. It's mostly like class abilities.
You only
and
cast
stuff.
one spell.
Well, yeah,
You only cast one spell.
yeah. That's the thing about warlocks. You only really cast Eldritch Blast.
Well, if you're looking at cleric spells at level 7, Firestorm's fun.
It's like Fireball, but a storm.
Yeah, you basically designate giant squares covering like half the battlefield, and everybody underneath it is covered in flames.
Oh man, I could get thunderstep.
Actually, Bob, I'm sorry. That reminds me of a question I wanted to ask you, which is about switching out spells. Because obviously, every level I can switch out one spell for a different one.
Yep.
But in terms of using that to switch magical secret spells, I think I looked it up at one point, and there were a couple different interpretations of the rules. Like some people said you couldn't at all, and some people said you could, but you could only switch one out and replace it with a bard spell, which seems kind of weird.
Well, the magic secret spells are specifically part of your spells known list. We just
Right.
saw that, and so I would say that if you want to switch out a magical secret spell for another magical secret spell, that's okay.
Okay. Fair enough.
And you can, in fact, switch it out for a spell of a different level, because
Okay, that was going to be my next question, actually.
because that is something that you can always do with your spells known.
Right. Okay.
And it's
That
just that
sounds-
the issue is that the only reason that's an issue is because there are spells that you can, there are low-level spells you can cast using higher-level slots, but not the other way around.
Right.
That's the main
Okay.
reason you don't go top hit.
Yeah. No, that's helpful. Okay. Because I was actually thinking that. I mean, I don't know. I don't currently want to switch out any of my spells necessarily. Like the 4 that I have so far are 4 spells that I use a lot and quite like having. But I was thinking, like, if I pick another AoE spell or something, maybe I would want to switch out Fireball or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'll have to look into what the the good picks are.
I'm gonna head on out. I am extremely tired. I did not sleep well last night, and I still need to get a shower and stuff. So I'll see y'all next week.
Later.
Good night.
Good night.
Later.
And just double check your POG. Make sure the numbers are right.
Yeah, yep. Like I said, it's kind of boring level for me. I only get like hit point increase and that dark delirium thing. So later.
Yeah.